The first question's already here. What is next for Odoo Restaurant?
This year, from 18 to 19, we just needed to start to at least have a nice product to just like the basic features to be covered, etc. In 1 year, we have done such great achievements that we're very happy with the tool we built. So the next step for Odoo 19 is to go further. And what I mean by that is now that you have like very strong basics and foundations, we can move further with the features. So for instance, new integration. For instance, new integrations. Also, I was thinking about the kiosk and the self. People are asking that question quite often, like how can we log in as a client? This is the kind of details that we will have to go through in order to offer like the very nice experience with the post restaurant.
What is your favorite feature of all time?
I think my favorite feature of this time is the course management. It may seem very basic, and it was asked a lot. And we, for a long time, have told people, oh, there is an easy workaround. You can just put notes on order lines. What I mean by that is, in the restaurant, up, like this. So in the past, if someone wanted to send starters, main, and dessert, they had to select the lines, but the items, and then we told them, you know what, just tell the kitchen to say, okay, this is starter. And we thought that this was useful for them. Actually, this is a nightmare for them to use like this. So what we've done now, finally, we've added this, course management. It's actually help you to gather all the right information below the right course, so to make sure that all the items are prepared at the right time. So how does it work? You select the button course, you add items, and you click on course again, you add the other items. The kitchen receives all the information. So a whole receipt with all the information, or on the preparation display, all the preparation cards. And now, if I do this and go back to table 1, course 1 was fired because these are the starters. But if I want the course 2 to be fired, then I can just click fire course 2, and the kitchen get a warning, so visual and volume sound also, to make sure that I can start to prepare at the right time.
How can we add a special discount quick button for a fixed value, for example, €5 instead of percentage, and label that button for student discount or manager discount for reporting?
Yes, for the moment, on the global discount, it's only a percentage, and what you see in the cart is lines of percentage according to the taxation. What we are doing now, and it will be available only after 19, is to be able, for this dialogue, to accept also fixed amount. So if I want to offer only €10, we have to make sure that under this €10, on the prorata of the VAT rate, we deduce the right amount. So this is incoming, and also for the tips, it's coming too, to be able to select either you want to use percentages or fixed amount in one click.
Can we import online orders?
Online orders. I think what people mean by that when they ask the question most of the time is they order something on e-commerce and they want to pay it on the POS. So this we already have by importing like the sales order and settle the quotation. But people, they think, okay, so what if I sell burgers online? Can I just put it and then the sales order will push the order to the kitchen? Actually, no. But what we have now, and it's very nice working, it's actually the self-orders. The self-orders actually allows you to put this QR code and menu ordering. If you just save like this, if I want to open this interface, I have this link. Actually, this link to order online, you can just put it behind the button on the e-commerce, which means that people, when they will be on e-commerce, they will say, oh, I want to see the menu and click, they will arrive to that page. And when you order from that page, actually, all the orders are sent to the kitchen. So this is a workaround. It's working pretty fine, and you have all the nice features that we offer in the POS.
We have a few different questions all about the improvements of V19, but also what's next for Odoo Restaurant. So maybe we condense them all into one question. What's next? What's the improvements?
I think in terms of feature for the POS restaurant, we have now everything we need. No need to complexify it more. But the part that we struggle with, even today with the partners, is actually to launch restaurant. And the reason is, a restaurant needs hardware all the time. Cash register, maybe fiscal module like a black box, payment terminals. And when it comes to implementing this kind of hardware, we've noticed that people, since they don't understand how it works exactly, they're afraid to take these challenges. So what we've done now for the current client, we have bundles of hardware, and we can ensure that, okay, a client wants to start a restaurant in that version, that date. We bring all the material, we install everything, we make the audit, the network audit, we ensure that everything is fine, and it's like working out of the box. So the next step is actually to motivate and to train the partners and the community to feel comfortable using all these hardware integrations, because it's only because of your feedbacks and your trainings that we can know how can we simplify the configuration of them and maybe integrate more or less depending on the need on the market. So it's more a commercial aspect more than just focusing on the product itself.
Maybe just to add to that, in terms of user friendliness, anything you're planning on improving or anything you think would be a great addition?
It's funny because people always think, how can we add something? The real added value that you create when you work in a software is actually by removing stuff. So my goal is to remove as much as possible on the POS. I removed the price on the product cards because it was too noisy to use. We try to have just the buttons you might need, not excessive buttons. Let's be real. People ask for some specific features because they've noticed one case or one restaurant needing something, but for us, it's a technical depth to maintain for such low added value. And we found in these things that users do not see, we found greater value of removing a lot of lines of code than adding them.
In terms of access rights, do you have any improvements or anything to help, let's say, mitigate dishonest use? And
Yes. So for the moment, what we have on Post Restaurant is only 3 levels of access right. So I have the advanced right, the basic right, and minimal right. In short, advanced right can do everything. That's the admin. Basic rights, let's say, is a trustful employee you work with. He can open, he can work, do some check-in, check-out, etc. But for the minimal rights, you have to take it as a student that comes. You cannot do anything. But if he wants to do a mistake, you cannot do anything for that. So you just give him the minimal rights. The only thing you can do is add items in the cart and make it pay. When it comes to refund, to whatever specific flows you need to do, you need to call a manager. This, in Western Europe, it's perfect. In Belgium, restaurant, it's perfect. Yesterday, I had a call with the Mexico office because it's a nightmare for them. Reality is, the population they work with has a different mindset, and it happens more often that people steal in the cashier and they have security issue. So my plan for this year is actually to break this 3 level of access right and actually offer the user more flexibility per employee. So you could decide this employee can do cash in, cash out, but maybe this employee can do refunds, and this one no, even if they from the start had the same level of access right.
the POS currently has a bug or an issue where orders or order lines disappear. Why does this happen, and has this been fixed?
So, to give you the historic also, in 18 we introduced concurrency. So to make sure that we can synchronize order line between devices, etc. This was a huge challenge that I tried to solve, and it came with a lot of bugs, but like critical bugs. People were having like table disappearing. Sometimes the orders were just leaving, and then the client comes to pay and like, oh, what did you take again? Can you repeat? It was a very challenging year because we spent from January to March going weekly on restaurant trying to catch the errors. We noticed a lot of things, right? A wide range of improvement that we could do. And we believe that now that we've improved all these small points, we have, in terms of synchronization, something steady. And I'm in touch with clients in direct on WhatsApp that keep me updated. And if they have any issue, they report it to me so we can check the logs, because this error should not happen actually anymore, except in extreme use cases, like you had the talk with the IoT. Very bad internet connection can lead to some packages lost in the air.
Is there any solution at the moment where a guest that orders via kiosk or phone receive a notification or SMS when the order is ready?
Yes, if you use the presets, actually you can select slots, which means that as a client, I can say, okay, I want to order that food for that time. Actually, I receive an email and SMS, not yet, but I receive an email to tell me that the food is ready and I should come and grab it at that time.
Can can there be more access control security to be improved or provided in POS, or can they be more configurable, simpler to what happens in Odoo web client?
It will come this year. But at the moment, this is what I said, we only have like 3 levels. It's very, for me, it's perfect because it's 3 access rights that you manage. It's easy to manage, etc. But reality is requiring for more. So this year we will try to improve it as much as possible to offer as much flexibility as possible. But we will try not to make it like a very complex product to use. So it's always this balance that we have to play with.
I hear a black box 2.0 is coming for Belgium. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, exactly. So the Belgian Fiscal Administration changed the way they want to control the restaurant. Today, they have this very old black box that you have to plug with cables to the IoT, and the IoT is connected to the database. When you use the black box, let's say you have an auditor coming, he is able to extract the data with his card, put it in his computer with encryption, and then check all the data. This takes a lot of time. We have 70,000 restaurants in Belgium, and we have maybe like 100 auditors, and it's impossible to audit everyone. We know that we should do. So what the government says, he says, okay, on the market, I'm going to open, let's say, a new opportunity for companies that want to try. You can try to build the white box. They don't call it black box anymore. They call it like white box. Actually, what it does, it will be a box, physical box, unfortunately, because this is Belgium. And this is connected to the internet. And the advantage of doing it directly like this is this box is directly connected to the servers of the fiscal administration, which means they don't control like this, or just, okay, this one I'm going to control that guy. No, they will have algorithm that's, okay, there is a warning, this restaurant should be checked, etc. So for the deadlines, we were supposed to be ready for mid-July. Mid-July, new restaurant, what I mean by new is the one starting in 2025, we're obliged to switch to this new white box solution. The existing client today will have to switch to white box in 2028. Belgium, again, we are of course late, and the administration said, okay, the deadline is now on the 31st of December. So we have until the end of the year to get our white box certified, and Odoo is building its own white box. Be aware that we will make our own, but we have also other companies that make their own. But don't worry, every white box has to be working with every POS system certified, because you have to certify the POS and certify the box. But if I take the box from one competitor, I can make it work with Odoo too. Of course, I advise you to use the Odoo one since it's the same ecosystem.
Thank you. Is there any plan to integrate a payment terminal and product scanner for kiosk?
Payment terminals, we already have integration for the kiosk. Not all of them, and I'm aware of it. We have only a few of them working, like Worldline at the end, and I think that's all. Compared to the POS, where you have like 7 integration. We want to integrate the other ones, but we first have a huge refactoring to do on the way we manage payment with the kiosk. Should be working the same as the POS, but historically it just doesn't. So we first have to do a job on this to expect one day to make sure that if you have one terminal that works on my POS, it actually works on the kiosk. So this is what we would like to do.
Can you work with recipes or dishes to show better storage?
Recipes and dishes. Yes, you can actually use a base of material in Odoo. So every time you sell something, it gets out of the stock and all the items get consumed. So you can have like an exact idea on how it works. Be aware that, again, with the black box, we have some limitation. So we decided to restrict some features. This one, for instance, doesn't work with the black box. Be also aware that all the restrictions we have now with the black box are things that we're trying to solve with the new white box, because we'll have less physical constraint on the way we can manage stuff, and we'll get more flexibility on the way we can deploy.
How do we implement delivery partners like Uber Eats and Deliveroo?
This one, I invite you to come at 5:30. I will give you my talk on how to connect it, to connect through Urban Paper. So to give you some context, we have a hub called Urban Paper. That's a company in India. What they did is created integration for all the delivery companies, Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Zomato, whatever. And what we do, we just connect through API to Urban Paper. And actually, we can just fetch all the orders, come to Urban Paper, and that come into Odoo. So you have all the orders coming for whatever delivery company you have, all gather on one screen.
Impressive. How can you rescue sessions How can rescue sessions be managed so that if one is open, the cashier only has POS access, not backend, and the session closing value excludes the rescue session amount?
Not sure I got the question, to be honest.
I'll repeat. How can rescue sessions be managed so that if one is open, so a rescue session is open, the cashier only has POS access, not backend, and the session closing value excludes the rescue session amount?
Okay, if you work with employee that do not have access to the backend, if there is a rescue session, you cannot even leave actually the front end. So you'll be stuck. Only the admin will be able from the backend to actually close it. So from that point. But if your question is, can I still use the POS when I'm in closing session? No, because you're trying to do an operation that is stacking actually the POS, because the POS is trying to input journal entries, to move inventory, and kind of stuff. But there was a second part to the question.
And the session closing value excludes the rescue session amount.
No.
Clear statement. Is there a way to use the POS or the kiosk as a price checker only? As an example, as a price checker in supermarket alleys?
Yeah, of course. What you can do is, in my configuration here, I put it as QR menu plus ordering. What you can do is just put it as QR menu. So actually you can just save it, and just like that. So now you only have the visibility on the products online and the prices and information if you have descriptions, etc.
When there is a combo menu, but guests order items separately, does the POS signalize it also available as a combo? So discussions afterwards are prevented? I think the question is, if there is a combo menu, but then guests decide, okay, we want 1, 2, 3 products, and then it adds up to a combo menu?
I know. We don't have this mechanism yet, just like you would see in big fast food, like McDonald's or whatever, or Burger King. If you select one burger, one Coke, and a fries, they will tell you, oh, don't you want to just make it a combo so it's cheaper? We don't have it yet. But this is something we thought about in order to simplify the UX, just not done yet.
How much freedom does the user have in terms of design to add stuff like macronutrient circles and allergen symbols showing the numbers under the product details?
Yes. So in 18.3, when we done like the big revamp of the UI on the kiosk and the shelf, we added some features. And this one, I know it's a little bit hidden, but here I have the tags. For cheeseburger, I say, for instance, not veggie. I will create an edit. I can put a color, whatever. I can maybe put a description for allergen. So contains meat. Just save it. Save it. Up. I'll just put it like this. Line in. Okay. And now, as you can see, I have this I information button. If I click on it, I have all the information needed. Also, something nice I would like to show is if you do this, as you can see, it's very responsive. Up, like this. Responsive, like this. So what you see here is the kiosk. This is what you see at the Hall 7, or when you go to grab drinks. This is what people see on mobile. Actually, it's the same views. We just adapted some fields, but it's all the same, and you have all the same information. Voilà.
Super cool. In terms of sitting at the table, is there any way we can see how long a customer has sat at a table?
No, you cannot. But the reason why people would need it is 2 use cases. Either you want to ensure that people consume, and if you don't consume anymore, you would like to invite them to either consume or maybe leave the place. Or you have the second option, you want to know the time in order to make sure you can do like right reportings. And we introduced a reporting for order preparation time in 18.3. What does it do? Someone come, you put the table, you add the items, you send to the kitchen. We record the time it took the kitchen to get the food ready. And then when the kitchen moved to the next stage, it considered the plate moved to the table. All these stages are recorded, which means that at the end of the day, I can know exactly, okay, today I've noticed that in order to prepare burgers, it took us 2 minutes more than yesterday. And then you can try to find the root cause. Maybe just the UX of the whole kitchen is not good at all. So this kind of incentive can help user make better choice operationally.
Will it be possible to split an item on a check without needing to duplicate the item?
No. We had the choice. Today we support two ways of splitting. It's either you go on the payment screen and you just say, okay, I'm going to pay like 10 by cash and 10 by card. Or we have the second thing, you go on a split screen and you select the order lines. There is, of course, the third solution, which is actually being able to split a bottle of wine in two. But in the end, by going on site often, we notice that, first of all, for restaurant owners, they don't want you to split because they waste time doing like several checks. They just want one person to pay, and they say to clients, okay, you find your way with your friends afterward. So we don't want to complexify actually the interface for the user.
Trusted POS features doesn't seem to work when the POS are in different branches. Will
Yes.
it change in the future?
It's a limitation, and I'm not sure we're gonna fix it / improve it. But I still need more feedbacks about it to understand like the real use case of such situation, in order to know if I have to do it or not.
Is adding a service fee supported?
What?
A service fee?
Service fee? No, we don't do it. But you can find a workaround by actually putting optional products. So make sure that you don't forget it. Other than that, you could maybe through the presets add a price list and add a certain price at the end of the session.
They just added also think about hotels, so maybe something to think about for the future.
Hotels, we have a hotel industry, and it has been done. So you should go to the industry. It's a whole 7 just behind the POS, and I've worked on it with the product owner. So we've made a whole bundle for the hotel industry with everything working very smoothly. So all standard, of course.
When the customer makes a reservation online, can they choose which table they want?
Yeah, of course. They can choose the table, or now we offer the ability not to have to choose a table, and you have now the waiting list. So
Will we be able
because
to?
I hear your voice and I hear their voice also.
Unfortunately, yeah. Maybe stand forward a bit.
Right.
Will we be able to leave payment screen and then put in the tip later?
No, and I understand what you mean. In the US, this is what they do. So the clients send a paper telling, okay, I'm leaving that amount of tips, and at the end of the day, the restaurant owners just say, okay, from that card, I'm going to take that amount, etc. Today, we don't do it, and we are not planning to do it. And the reason is, discussing with the product owners in the US, the feature of tips after payment may not seem that used anymore. The reason is more about the hardware part, because to have such flow working fine, you need everything to be working on one device. And in the US, Stripe does not provide payment terminals that can run a web page on it. So it's a limitation, so why not just remove the feature? It's still into discussion.
Question about product modifiers. My menu items all have bills of material. If I remove tomatoes from my burger, it should not consume it from my inventory without creating different variants. This is an extremely needed feature for high-end restaurants. Are you planning to add this feature? It's standard in competitors.
It seems way too complex for the persona we're targeting, actually. I go to restaurant every week just to meet the clients. I want to see them working, and I've noticed one thing. We end up doing a lot of features with a lot of new flows, etc., etc. And when I go on site, I'm very sad when I see that people don't even use them. This may be just half of it. Reality is they're focusing on making food, not having a software that do a lot of complex computation. It may be useful for some people, this I understand, but deciding to make it standard, it's a huge depth for us to maintain for such low added value.
In previous versions, POS orders sent to the kitchen or bar were not saved. Is there an update on this in this version that allows these orders to be saved so reports can later be generated to compare orders sent to the kitchen with validated orders?
Actually, in the POS now, every time you do an event, so let's say you add items on the cart and send to the kitchen, it's synchronized with the backend already. On the POS retail, it does not. We synchronize it only when it's paid, but post-restaurant, it's synchronized all the time.
A very simple request, but can you limit the amount of orders per time slot?
Yes. It's a quick button. So here, for instance, you can say, okay, if you work schedule-based, you can put a maximum capacity. As a user, you can force the capacity. If I'm the waiter in the room, I can force the timing, but it means that clients ordering online, they will not see the slot available. So if all the slots are taken, I have to wait the next one.
As we're running a bit low on time, we can maybe do one or two last questions. Will there be a possibility to use AI to prepare your order in advance for the next day so that restaurants could directly submit an order?
We have to be very careful with all the AI hype. I know it's a very good tool, can be used, but again, when I go inside, discuss to restaurant, the first challenge is just to have a good internet connection. Trying to having AI involved in all of this, just end up adding like such a mess.
And maybe last question, is the option courses optional or demanded in the POS screen?
Can you repeat?
Yeah. Is the option courses optional or demanded in the POS screen?
No, you have it, but it's not optional. But you are not forced to use it. Voilà. If you have more questions, please just come at the booth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.